Hello and welcome back, Squirrel Nation. I hope you're all having an outstanding day. To begin, thank you to all of our members for your support. Anybody who would like to join our Squirrel Nation membership, smash that join button below this video. With that said, today's video I'm like so hyped about, I can't even tell you, because this is a new build that I actually discovered in Duo Queue today, and I realized I could actually pull this off in solo queue. It's really hard to pull off, so I thought I was going to have to play the build multiple times to be able to get it, but I actually hit it first try. But for that reason, the commentary I'm adding after actually the gameplay. I just finished playing the game, we're adding the commentary, but if this if this gameplay is not the most hype gameplay you have seen in a long time, I've failed it. I've just failed because I'm still hyped from the game. So anyways, with that, let's talk about the game. So starting off, the concept of the build you can probably see in the thumbnail is Divinity full Mage. So we're going for full Divinity 6 Mage. So you get all 3 Divinities and you get your 6 Mages. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to use the demon synergy. Okay, so you need to use wizard synergy. You need to cancel out your demons by having 2 demons, and then you have all your divinity, and you can actually get to 6 mage. So the units that are mandatory are the 5 mages as follows: Tortola, the Winter Dragon, Shining Dragon, Thunder Spirit, and you need to hit the God of Thunder. So those 5 mages don't share any racial bonus, and then you need to get the wizard synergy. We all know the wizard, and then choose a demon to cancel out. You could use Roguard or Doom. I personally like Doom because of the silence. When you have 3 divinity, your silence is just up, 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 up. So that's awesome. And then I like to mix in some sort of CC. So it could be a Siren, it could be a Tsunami Stalker, it could be a Storm Shaman, depending on what the enemy team's doing. So that is the goal, and for a lot of reasons you can probably imagine it's pretty hard to hit, but in this video I want to discuss some of the ways that I go about hitting it. So anyways, starting the game is Divinity Assassin is a good way to start out because it gets you to the Divinity. It gets you a strong early and mid game, which is where normally Divinity builds are kind of hard and they struggle. So you can see I picked up the God of War, I picked up the Soulbreaker, and I'm about to find out that I'm going to be able to get a Pulse Staff. So another thing about this build is I would not go for this unless you have a Pulse Staff early, because you need it. I would say for this build to really shine, you need at least 2 Pulse Staffs. You need 1 Pulse Staff for your Tortola, and ideally you have another one for your God of War, and optional but still really good is have one for your CC. So in this game, it just starts out well, right? We hit our assassins, we 2-star Soul Reaper, and we have that Pulse Staff on him, so we are able to start without having to force levels or do any of that crazy stuff, and we're not losing health. So that is a very important thing. This is not a build I would try to use coming from behind, because you must hit your God of Thunder. There's so many pieces you have to hit. It's like Goblins used to be. It's not a build you're going to force every game, but it is such a fun build, and when you get it, it is so satisfying. So I definitely recommend all of you out there try this build out. Hopefully I start seeing it on ladder, seeing people using it. I've never seen anybody pull this build. In all the games I played on rank, I never saw anybody pull this build. Of all the different YouTubers, I've never seen anybody do this build, so that is another reason I'm super hyped to show this. I think this is the first build that I didn't get from somewhere else. I didn't see it on ladder, I didn't see it on YouTube. It's just something that I randomly thought of today. And like I said, I actually thought about it in Duo Queue because I've been focusing on climbing Duo, and I realized from my teammate handing me other synergies what I could do, but I never really thought about it just because it's so niche. But anyways, so here you go. I hit the assassins, I have the divinity. If you notice, I'm consistently scouting. Something that happens in this game is at first I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go divinity assassin, and I end up giving up on that because of scouting. So when I scout, I see there's 2 other assassin teams, so I'm like, I'm having issue and I'm wasting a lot of gold. And same thing with my board. If you look at my bench right now, the reason I'm holding those is I'm thinking I want one of the Glacier mixed in. I bias myself towards Warlock, right? But then we hit the Shadow Crawler. So now at this point, I'm thinking, okay, well, what are my next pieces going to be? And I want to free up gold, right? I want to get my gold above 10 so I can start getting interest, and I don't want to tie up a bunch of gold sitting on my bench when I'm not going to use it. So that's why I'm starting to make these choices. We are going to sell the Reaper. We put in the Shadow Crawler, 4 Assassins, have our God of War. Cool. Ideally, you'd like to hit your God of War to 2-star to just make you feel more comfortable with things. We didn't do that, but we do have this Soulbreaker with a Pulse Staff, so that's doing very well. If you notice, he's getting multiple ults off each fight, which is great. He's already got 2 off. There's a 3rd that kills the Abyss Crawler, so that's great. Here I'm not selling because I could not have made it to 10 gold even if without selling something I wanted to hold on to, the Shadow Crawler, aka the Shadow Crawler. And here is a choice. I could pick up the Thunder Spirit and go for the Spirit Synergy instead of the God of War. But like I said, in this game, this is more, I know the build that I want to try. So I'm picking up the Thunder Spirit because it goes into my Mage build. The reason I'm not putting it on the board is I'm kind of thinking about how to do things with gold and that type of stuff. You could put it in there. This round, to be honest, I think it's still stronger without because I have the Soulbreaker with the Pulse Staff, right? Soulbreaker without the Pulse Staff, the cooldown reduction is pretty significant because as you can see, he's ulting almost off, like his ult is almost up with his mana, so he's kind of waiting on the cooldown, and it definitely helps protect your health. So God of War into the Soulbreaker with a Pulse Staff is a great way to start off as a Divinity build. If you can do it. Obviously, you can't do it every game, but it is something great. If I didn't have the Pulse Staff, I would have went with the Thunder Spirit because then I could have the Spirit Synergy and deal with, some of the melee stuff a little bit better. Here, my bench is starting to get heavy. I need to make some hard choices. I mean, my health is okay, but we're not really like super streaking, and I'm honestly not even really trying to go too hard for a streak here. I know my team's going to get weak at a certain point. So I'm just trying to honestly maintain health and build up my economy, and that's why we're going to start selling things off. And this round, I believe I opt to keep the Assassins. The reason why is if I hit another 2-star of the Venom or hit another 2-star Soulbreaker, I mean, that could really carry me all the way through probably Wolves. But we don't get lucky, we don't hit it, and I believe I start scouting. I should start scouting pretty soon here. By the way, for those of you new to the channel, I used to do this all the time, or I used to mix in post commentary, and here we go. So I scout, I decide to sell the Assassins, and look how it changed my gold, right? We were pretty low in gold, and now we're pretty high in gold, and I get into the 3 Mage, and the 3 Mage is going to benefit other stuff, but anyway, so we boost up our gold, and now we are the 3rd highest gold, but really we're up with the other teams because one's 25 and one's 29. So we had a really bad economy. I decided, you know what, I'm sitting on too much gold with these Assassins, right? Like 3 gold for one Venom, 3 for another Venom. I was a Shadow Crawler, a Water Spirit, like just all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, forget it. I didn't hit the pairs, give up on it. And another reason I gave up on it, I want to stress this, is if you notice I'm constantly scouting, and I'm seeing that there's too many other teams going for Assassins, so Assassins are just not going to reliably get upgraded, and we hit that Golem round, and it's like, I still haven't hit the Assassins, you know what, forget it, I got the Mages I want to start getting anyways, so let's just go in that direction. And I say this all the time, but Pulse Staff scales with Mage Synergy, so if you have Mage Synergy, your Pulse Staff is actually doing more work than it would be if you don't have a Mage Synergy. So that's another kind of thing for me. If I'm not hitting 2-star Assassins, then why not just get the Mage Synergy so that my Pulse Staff is doing more damage? So anyways, you can see things start to go well. We're still maintaining health. Round 11, we're still at, and basically round 12, we're still at 90 HP, which is great. And our economy is still hanging in there, right? Holding this The wizard, the Grim Touch, is you know that's taking some of our economy, but it's not too bad. So you can see I'm starting to build out the just framework of the team. We have the Flame Wizard. By the way, Tortola, you could switch with Flame Wizard. You could also technically switch with the Source, because all three are humans, and you just need one of them, those human mages. But Tortola is definitely a carry. You'll see that later in this video when we look at the DPS meter. But anyways, that's something else to keep in mind. So just focusing, keep our health up. My objectives in this is keep my health up, get my economy to 50, and start leveling. Because I know, one, to get this synergy, to even achieve the synergy I want to achieve, I have to be level 9. 2, once level 9, I have to hit a God of Thunder. So it's like I have all these criteria I need to do, which means I have to get my economy up. I have to be able to start leveling. And I can't just get my economy up lose streaking, because I have to have high HP. And you're going to notice that the mid-game gets really, really rough. So to kind of telegraph what happens in this game, you will see the mid-game gets rough, and if I wasn't able to kind of navigate the early game and be high on health, then we would have had issues. So anyways, here, once again, just to summarize, we started Assassins early because we had the Soulbreaker 2-starred and we had a Pulse Staff. And now we just sold the Desperate Doctors, our pair of Soulbreakers. Why? Because we wanted to econ up to 40. So we got up to 40 gold, and now we are the 3rd highest gold still, but we're right next to the 2nd highest. So that is great. And there we go. Hit our 2-star Thunder Spirit, so that is beautiful. I'm just kind of looking, trying to make some choices. At this point, I'm actually thinking, should I sell my Wind Ranger? The problem is I can't put in my Grim Touch because I only have 1 demon at this point. So in my head, I'm looking for a demon so that I have the option of putting in my Grim Touch, but unfortunately, we have not hit that demon. So here, just grabbing Werewolf, I don't really plan to use it because I have the human synergy with my Flame Wizard. It's just a piece I'm just taking out of the hero pool. That's something I've started to try to do in my games, is grief pieces that I think people want a little bit, or like higher value pieces, just so people can't get them as easy. And here's a great example. We lose to the person in 3rd place, but we're still in 2nd place in health because by the time I lose, I'm getting a good amount of kills. So that's what I mean. Throughout this game, I'm middling, meaning I'm not win streaking heavily, I'm not lose streaking heavily, and when I lose, I'm just losing a little. So that is the key. We're the Wolves. So round 15, we have that 50 gold economy, and our health is still in great shape. So things are looking good. But from round 15 to, let's say, like 21, when I'm going to hit level 9, that is the scary part for this build. And for any of you trying to do this build, that's when the fear is going to get into you, and you'll see what I mean. It gets rough mid-game unless you high rolled and you hit really core pieces, which I don't in this game. I do high roll at one point later in the game, but you'll see that. But anyways, we have our wizards now. So I have the wizards. I kind of have the backbone of the team that we discussed. I have 1 Pulse Staff. We have the God of War, right? We have the wizards. We have the Thunder Spirit 2-starred. So we're heading in the right direction. We also have our winner. And by the way, one of the things I meant by we're not high rolling is like even our winter is still only 1 star. So we're not really like super hitting things in this game. The reason I bring that up is that gives me kind of a little more confidence about using this build regularly because I didn't have to super high roll on this game. But anyways, here's another decision. I was thinking, do I want to save for the coin? No, I don't want to save for the coin because I already have a halberd, and in this build, I'm not going to need a Shadows Cleave, and I don't need to stack halberds. Whereas my God of War is my huge tank. My God of War is there to buy time for me to consistently cast spells, and you'll see that through these fights as you pay attention. And the other debate I was having in my head was, do I want to combine these 2 armors? Because late game, I actually don't want Barbaric carapace or whatever it's called, barbaric armor, because I don't care about reducing the enemy's armor or anything like that. I actually care about just slowing down the enemy's damage. So I actually want ice armor. The thing is, I know that it's going to be, like, I know the next 5 to 10 rounds are going to be hard for me because the mid game is not strong. So the 15% reduction to the enemy's attack speed is pretty helpful. And I would rather the helpfulness in the mid game, because late game you're going to see this build absolutely destroys things. So late game I don't need it. Mid game I need the power spike, so that's why I'm combining the item, even though late game I don't care about barbaric armor. But anyways, so I get in. The reason I pick up the Venom is we have the Desperate Doctor. I can mix in Warlock synergy into my full late game synergy. I can't use Warlock, but at this point in the game I can definitely use Warlock. It helps me to sustain. And it also gives me 1 CC with Desperate Doctor, and 2, it gives me another Meat Shield in Venomancer. So I add a Meat Shield, and I add some CC to the comp, plus I get the Lifesteal from the Warlock synergy. So Venomancer, Desperate Doctors, Poison Worms, those are all great things to add in. Poison Worms are really good to add in if you can get a Pulse Staff. A Poison Worm with like a Pulse Staff and a Mana Crystal can carry you very heavily through the early parts, all the way to probably like round like the wolves, you know. So that's another option besides Soulbreaker, and honestly that's an even stronger option. Here we force the level because I want to give my chance to beat first place, and coincidentally we fight first place. And what I mean, for if anybody wasn't paying attention, is I was at 50 gold. I chose to level and go below 50 gold because I wanted to get in not only my 8th hero, but get in that Warlock synergy. And you can see we end up fighting first place, who also leveled to 8, and we barely beat them, and they actually beat us from their point of view. So that's why I leveled there, right? I just want to maintain my HP. Giving up 1 gold is... And actually, I'm not even really giving it up, because victory, winning the fight, gives me 1 gold. So that's why I did that there. Picking up pairs, just thinking about it. Here, I'm actually thinking about selling the Herald, because I do want to get back above 50 gold, and Herald I'm not going to use anytime soon. Also, Herald in this build is only there because he's a divinity. That's why he's there. I could care less about his star level, to be honest. So Heralds I'm totally okay selling. I just want 1 so I have Wizard. So yep, notice I sell it. The Mage crushing me. And here's where scouting becomes very, very important. So if we review scouting, I want Assassins. I saw 2 other teams are going Assassins. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to compete with other teams. So I put in Mage. And then I'm scouting, we see there's another Mage team, so now I need to think about Storm Shaman so that I can counter the Mage. So that is something else in my mind. I'm picking up the Fortune Teller, because if you can get a 2-star Fortune Teller in Divinity comps, he's quite strong. Especially, I know I'm going max Divinity, right? I know that I'm going for 3 Divinity, and actually 4 Divinity. 4 Divinity doesn't help you, but that's what I'm going for. So the 2-star Fortune Teller could help me a lot. Another thing is, if you get a Fortune Teller early enough, it can help you sustain your health quite a bit also. So anyways, early game, mid game, sustain health is what you want until you get to level 9. So that is the main priority of this build. It's keep your health as high as possible and get to level 9 with a 50 gold economy. Would be perfect. So here we finally hit another demon. Hit a demon. I hit an even better CC source in the Siren, so that is also good. I'm putting this stuff in. I know I want to get, this is what I want to get to, and once again we're going to kind of tempo level. It messes up our econ just a little bit, and honestly here I didn't need the Herald in. I should have put it in the Siren. But there's also a bunch of stuff I can sell by doing this, right? I can sell the Desperate Doctor, the Venomancer. We're going to start getting rid of that. The Fortune Teller, all that stuff I can sell. So hopefully I sell it. It's the right play to sell it, I should say. because now the Warlock doesn't matter, because once again, we're now level 9. So I'm no longer thinking about Warlock, because at this point we're targeting our 6 Wizard, so I can't even fit in Warlock even if I want. And if you notice, from round 20, or like 21 to probably like 26, that's when we start to take some big hits to our health. Here, right, I'm looking at the Storm Shaman. I kind of realize, like, I don't really need those things in. I want to get the Siren in. I want to get the Storm Shaman in. The problem is, if I put both of them in, I can't have the demons, so now you can see me kind of messing around, taking things in and out. Mana Crystal, I'm deciding between Storm Shaman and Siren. I decide Storm Shaman, I believe, because there's a Mage. I should put it on Storm Shaman, because we know there's a Mage who is wrecking us, and we need to defend our health. I don't care if I lose by a little bit, I care if I lose by a lot, so the Mage will beat me by a lot, but the Storm Shaman should prevent that, so that's why the mana needs to go to the Storm Shaman and not the Siren. And anyways, here we end up losing to first place, who's on a huge win streak, and that's where the Glacier hurts, and yeah, we've just kind of hit that weak spot. He's level 9, I'm level 9, but I just don't have that power yet because we're not full synergy. And I think at round 20, I think we're second place in health, and you can notice we're starting to move down because we're hitting that weak spot. But I am picking up things. Nice, we hit the Tortola, beautiful. The Mage I know is an issue, so I'm going for those items. I'm deciding where to put it. I want to get it in the middle of my team. So I don't want it on my Tortola because I want more heroes to benefit from it. So I was kind of debating Siren, and I think I end up, yeah, Grim Touch. So I just want more of my heroes to benefit from it. That's why I didn't want to put it on my Tortola Elder. But anyways, here we go. We fight the Mage, and we do lose again, but it's only 10 health instead of, 18 health, something like that, so it still hurts, but it does help us. So 41 health, we're not in panic mode, we're lose streaking, not a big lose streak, I think it's only a 1 gold lose streak, but we're not quite panicking, but it's getting to that point where we do need to power spike. Yeah. So out of everything we have, the last thing we need is a God of Thunder. God of Thunder, and we have hit the build we want to hit, and then from there we can just start positioning and going for the win. Here, picking up the Herald, same thing, just re-rolling, looking for stuff, cool. We get the 2-star and everything, we also hit an egg, which is nice, and now I'm below 50, so I keep re-rolling, we keep hitting some stuff, so we had very nice re-rolls here, and bam, Shining Dragon, sorry, I forgot to say that, Shining Dragon was another thing we had to hit, because that Shining Dragon is required. Both the Dragon Mages are required for this build. It's impossible to get to 6 Mage without them. So even though they're not really that strong and they don't contribute to your damage, like you're going to see the damage meter, it's totally skewed to 2 heroes, Tortola and your God of Thunder. But the other stuff is just there to have the 6 Mage synergy. So anyways, we're fighting the Assassin. Now we're in panic territory, okay? Because you can... My last 3 losses have been for double digits, and 2 of those losses have been for, like, significant double digits. Like, it was, what, like 15, 11, and 15. So, this is where we need to start hitting stuff within the next two turns. So, because it's minion round, I don't fully YOLO, but I am going into YOLO mode next, and there we're taking our, selling the Soulbreaker, get the Pulse Staff onto our Tortola. I'm kind of hesitating because I'm thinking, should I get it on my Storm Shaman to deal with a Mage? But then the reason I go Tortola is it's a must. I have 1 mana item on the Storm Shaman, but my Tortola must have it because with 3 Divinity and a Tortola, the Tortola just literally ults off a cooldown. It just non-stop ults. As soon as it has that first ult, it just goes. So it'll make more sense for anybody who hasn't seen 3 Divinity Mage. But the other note to make, and bam, we hit the God of Thunder. I'm like, oh yeah. And here I could sell the Shaman or the Shaman or the Siren have to go. You only have space for one CC source. So okay, and we're getting in if you notice when we put in the Shining, it goes, and then we take out the Siren, and then after this we're going to level to 10. But something I want to point out is the reason I chose Siren instead of Shaman is because, and I always get these comments when I do this, is if I look at the lobby, the Siren is more useful against the majority of the lobby. Okay, so like when I go up against the Glacier Knights, when I go up against the Hunters, stuff like that, the Siren is just more beneficial to my team than the Storm Shaman is. The Storm Shaman doesn't really help me versus the Glacier Knights. It kind of helps me versus the Hunters because it's like whose Siren's going to ult, but they're running a Siren. I know that from scouting. So that's why I choose it. The Mage, the Siren is not as helpful against the Mage, but I have 2 Pulse Staffs on my key Mages, and you're going to look at the DPS meter and it'll make a lot more sense. The other Mage also doesn't have a Storm Shaman. So what that means is my main damage is going to get off their ults no matter what. And at this point, I'm 6 Mage Divinity, so they're getting hurt. Like, look at that. You instant ult with my God of Thunder, and like half their team is at 8, like not even, like 10% health, and then just wipe them up like that. So I think this is the first fight you get to see where we are full build. Hopefully it makes sense what I'm saying right now. I don't need the Storm Shaman because the enemy Mage doesn't have a Storm Shaman. Nobody has a Storm Shaman. And I have the mana items I need so that I will get off my ultimates no matter what. So here I'm kind of debating, should I just go to 10 and get in my Siren? I decide against it because I still want to have an economy because I want to reroll and get my God of Thunder to 2-star. So I decide not to. I don't really need to. I think I'm winning pretty heavily based on the last results. So here we go. Here's the other Mage, and if you notice, they have the Siren, they have the Tsunami Stalker, but their team just gets 2 killed. So see, even the Siren gets off, but my God of Thunder ults immediately, my Tortola ults immediately, then they get turned to stone, and then the Hunters eat another round ultimates, and then they're dead. So the Storm Shaman there, you can see it really wouldn't have changed anything. I mean, maybe I got my second round of ultimates off, but it's unlikely. Because I think another thing sometimes people don't consider is when you do damage to the enemy, they're generating mana. So when they eat my God of Thunder's ult and then they eat a Tortola ult, if they're still alive, they just generated almost full mana just from eating those. So that's another thing to consider. When you're doing damage to the enemy team, you're giving them mana. The Devastator, I was kind of thinking, do I want to fit it in there by replacing out my Siren is kind of my thought. And I think I end up testing it. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever played this. This was a concept I came up with. So I'm going to keep testing it in the coming days, but I'm still, your 10th hero, I think you can, there's different things you can do with a 10th hero. I sell the God of War because I'm just kind of thinking to myself, like, what are the chances? I'm level 10, what are the chances that I pick up 5 more 1-cost units? Very, very slim. A 2-star or a 3-star God of War would be amazing, but the chance of it's so low. And there we go, we get our Siren. Picking up the Storm Shaman, I don't really want my enemies to have access to a Storm Shaman. I'm scouting right now, literally watching, like, okay, is anybody going for a Storm Shaman? And not only do I check the lineup, I check the bench. So I'm the only one with a Storm Shaman. I would like to keep it that way because I know, and in the comments, I am very aware that a Storm Shaman would be optimal in some cases, but no enemies going for a Storm Shaman. I am already dominating the people I need to be dominating, so okay, bam. Here's another huge thing. We hit, and notice I'm going to put on my Tortola, so we get the Pulse Staff level 2. Pulse Staff level 2 means instant ultimate for my Tortola, and if I get another one, it will go on my God of Thunder. And this is where this comp is just so scary. Yes, just at this point, I almost just want to just be quiet and watch these fights. I also wish I pulled up the shop less to block these fights, but watch. Tortola, instant ult, gets the mana, bam, goes through him, and this was the guy who was win streaking forever, and just gone. Second ultimate gone, right? So that is this comp, and now just kind of talking about the lobby, another reason I like this is definitely a viable build, because if you can get to it, I need to find some other builds that I can mix in, because you won't always be able to hit the God of Thunder, but I think you can still use the Warlock Mage Divinity to still perform reasonably well. The key to this build's long-term success is actually going to be the mid game. If you can stabilize in the 20s, like 20 to 25, then this build will be much more reliable. Scouting, what mana items do they have? Do they have Storm Shaman? No, cool, I'm safe, right? As long as they don't have those things, I'm safe. The reason I'm picking up Tsunami is not I'm trying to get Marine synergy, it's because I don't have mana item for my Siren, so she's kind of just alting slowly, and see, bam, first round, second round for Tort, third round for Tort. So beautiful. It is so beautiful, and this is why I love Divinity builds so much, and I loved Divinity Mage Warlock forever, and now that I realize I can get six Mage with it, it's just like heaven. This like I don't know. You can probably hear it. It's just like so exciting for me. I was so excited when I figured out I could do this. But holding the Torts, the enemy has a 2-star. That I should have realized this quicker. I think I held onto these Torts a little too long, because I'm not realistically okay, never mind. I'm not realistically going to 3-star, so I would only hold them just to block the other Mage player, but I don't need to. Here's us versus the Mage. See, God of Thunder, bam. God of Thunder, their team is down to 15% health, and then Tortola alt, and get out of here. Also, oh, and the formation. I should talk about the formation. Another thing is, using the formation I'm using, the only team I'm weak against is Assassins, and out of the 5 remaining teams, there's only 1 Assassin team, so I'm just playing the odds. And this basically means I'm going to beat the other Mage, I'm going to beat the Hunter. The nature of this formation is they're not going to get those huge ultimates off on my entire team, right? They're going to have to choose a group to get the ults off on. So that's why I formed up this way. And here we go. This is where I'm going to test. Once again, my Siren doesn't have mana items, unfortunately, just like my Storm Shaman wouldn't have. So I test out Tsunami because I can frontline him, he can take damage, get the ult off, and we can go for it. But anyways, Tort, first ult, second ult. He does go down, but you can see like the majority of the Assassins are already going down. Another good thing about it is, even when the Assassin's beating me, at least it's not like terrible. 8 health. We're first place health now. Everybody's kind of dying off. So we're okay. Here, YOLO roll. I want to get my 3-star God of Thunder. Or, sorry, God of War. So just YOLO at this point. There's no, like, I have nothing else to aim for. I literally have everything I would want. And 3 stars not happening, so. The other, oh yeah, what I want to talk about the other comps, okay? So we have the 4 Spirit, 6 Mage, because they want that, because they want to counter the Assassin. We have the Assassin, we have the Glacier Knight, and we have the 6 Hunter, 4 Garrus. Like, this is literally the meta. Like, you are staring at the meta. So that's the other reason this game, I said, went so beautifully, and I was so hyped to show this, is not only did I bust out a build that I have never seen before, but it is literally, the lobby is every single meta comp that is out there, or some variation of the meta comps that are out there, so you're seeing it perform against all the meta comps right now. And here I'm deciding who. I could save it for Siren, but I actually want my God of Thunder to instantly ultimate, so I believe I end up putting it on my God of Thunder. The reason for that is Tortola, just with the staff, Pulse Staff 2 will ultimate instantly, but God of Thunder, I honestly think it's a bug in the game, because he should also. Him and Tortola should have the same mana generation, but they don't. So giving him that second item actually lets him instantly ultimate, and you can see how strong his ult is, so I just opt to give it to him just to have it. I think that item is questionable. I will agree. If people comment I should have put that on the Siren, I won't heavily disagree with that, to be honest, but in the heat of it, in this battle, and just being like, oh, please let this beautiful build work out the first time I ever try it, I wanted to get it on my 2-star God of Thunder. But anyways, here we're rolling, once again, we're just going for the God of War, just trying some different positions, messing around. I'm kind of thinking about the Assassin, that's why I dropped the Tsunami Stalker back. That way, hopefully, he will grab some Assassin attention and just shifting things around. And yeah, So this round is a big round. People start going out. And anyways, here is the other hunter. And yeah, you can just see, right? That instant God of Thunder ult is just so clutch. And one person dies, which is the Glacier Knight. So Glacier Knight out. That's the person who was on that crazy win streak forever. He goes out. Then I want to look at the assassin. Oh, nice. I come look. The assassin actually went out to the Glacier Knight. So now the assassin's out. We hit our God of War, another egg. Bam. 3-star God of War. So literally the only team I was concerned about was the assassin. And the assassin's gone. At this point, I basically know it's GG. I don't see what the enemy teams can do to possibly stop me. At this point, as long as I form up. And yeah, so here we're just putting items. I'm putting so much melee onto Doom because he's my only melee hero. So here we go again against the Hunter. And the Hunter, for anybody wondering, the reason they split out of the corner is it's their only chance against me, right? They realize they can't keep eating all these ults, but that's where God of Thunder is so clutch, especially when you're max Divinity and he's just ulting, because he doesn't care if you're clumped up, right? He does damage to everybody on the board no matter what. So yeah, they're kind of helping themselves from Tort, but that's it. So just checking formations. You can see the other guy kind of using my style of formation, and I'm just making sure I'm on the right side of the board. I want to line up at a diagonal. Like, I want our diagonals to match each other, if that makes sense. And there I was doing the trick. I looked, I saw the targeting could either be on my Thunder Spirit, so I moved him over. And by diagonal, I want my Tortola to go through the majority of his team. So like that, when he ultimates, you can see he's hitting the majority of the team. So that's what I was looking for. And this person is... So this is the person I've been beating from my point of view. You can see they just beat me from their point of view. So what do I decide to do? Once again, the angle. So I want to switch my Tortola's sides. And hopefully in this fight, not here because we're fighting Glacier Clan, but in the next round you're going to notice the only adjustment I make is I move my Tortola to the other side, and it's GG. The reason for that is he hits more of the heroes. So if you look here, the Tsunami Stalker is going to be on the same side as my Tortola, right? So it's going to be right like next to my Doom. So when I'm ulting, I'm not really hitting the Tortola or the Siren or anything in that back corner. So I want to hit that, and that's why we switch over to the other side. And you saw from their point of view, they beat me pretty heavily by 3 heroes. And just switching over helps quite a bit. So, some more items. I'm just kind of deciding, okay. Like, I do think that for my Doom, but then I'm like, oh, it's on my God of War. Okay, that doesn't really matter. The reason I give it to my Doom is my Doom can get silence off, so actually that's great for me. And in a Divinity comp, I haven't even been talking about that, so maybe some people might want to go back and look at the Doom getting his silences off, but anyways. So here we go, the Siren. We give her the mana so she's getting her ult off quickly, and actually here I haven't shifted my Tortola. So I think this is the reason the enemy's doing better, but I forget how long it takes me. But anyways, at some point I do realize I need to shift my Tortola over, and then when I do that, the game ends very quickly. But we can see now, if I would have given that, we hit another mana item, I put on Siren, so I put her back in instead of Tsunami Stalker, just because her CC lasts longer. My only fear would be if she dies. We tested it, she doesn't die at 2-star, so we are good. 1 mana item with the 2-star, she gets her ult off no matter what also, and so we are just going to leave her, just kind of reshuffling, trying some different things out against the Mage. And same thing with my Siren, you can see, she gets it off. Their Siren, my Siren, the ults just cancel, right? He gets his Siren off, I get my Siren off, and then we just kind of at a stalemate. So again, I'm starting to beat him, but just barely, and that's because we went with a Siren with 1 mana item instead of a Tsunami Stalker. But I'm looking, and hopefully the diagonal, people see what I mean by the diagonal, but I think you'll see when we fight and I do make the switch. At this point, I was looking at Storm Shamans. I do not want him grabbing a Storm Shaman. That would be troublesome for me. He does have one on the bench, and we look at his reordering, and I guess I should be thankful that he reordered, because I think him reordering is what makes me finally realize that I should be switching my Tortola over. So if you see, There we go. We're hitting the left side group, but not the right side group with the Tort alt. And yeah, he's hiding his valuable stuff on the other side. But anyways, so we're barely winning, chugging away, and it is coming down to it. 7 win streak. The build, the first time ever build, and I am super hyped at this point. I'm just like, okay, please finish this game. Don't let something crazy happen. I'm just searching. I'm trying to think of hitting the Storm Shaman stuff. I just want to block it out. We see the time, just grabbing stuff. I was looking at things he needs, things that would scare me if he gets them. He already had 2 stars of the Devastator, right? It was mainly a Storm Shaman. Bam, I switch last second. And here you go, and you can see the difference in the alt is, yep, there we go. And it just gets a better one off, and you will see that our win is more secure from his point of view. But anyways, from his point of view, notice we won by 4 heroes. So that was it. Anyways, that does it. That is a video. Please add me as your favorite creator if this video got you hyped, if you enjoyed seeing it. Here's the final build. The end screen. If you like this video, please smash that subscribe button. If you can, join our Squirrel Nation membership. Click the join button below. But as always, I love you all, and I will catch you tomorrow. Take care.